Today we're going to make the football block. It is an applique block, and it looks like this. I just happen to have one finished already. First thing you'll need to do is put tearaway stabilizer in your hoop. Make sure your tearaway stabilizer extends at least 1 inch past the edges of your hoop. You'll get much better stitches if you do that. Alright, so the first thing that's significant that's going to stitch will be the football. So I go ahead and load your bobbin and your top thread with the brown for the football. The first thing though that's going to stitch out will be the placement line for the background fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and start the machine and let that stitch. Next we're going to take our background square, which by the way I have lined the back with Pellon Shape Flex Fusible. Some people call it Pellon SF101, and that just helps with puckering. It acts like a second layer of stabilizer. It gives you a much more professional look. So I'm going to take this block and I'm just going to place it inside the placement lines. Once it's inside the placement lines, I recommend you tape the 4 corners. I'm not going to do that because I'm the digitizer and I know how everything stitches out, so I know where not to put my fingers. Alright, once you've done that, just start the machine. You probably noticed this was a very long stitch. It's going to be removed when the block is finished. The next thing that's going to stitch will be a placement line to show us where to put the football fabric. So here you can see the placement line. So I like my applique to be a little bit fluffy, so what I do is I put a piece of batting underneath my applique fabric. Then I place both layers over the placement lines. Again, I would recommend that you tape the 4 corners, and then you just start the machine and it will tack this down. It's going to do a double stitch. I've taken the embroidery hoop out of the machine and laid it on a flat surface. Notice I've left everything inside the hoop. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove all this extra fabric that's around the football with some very sharp scissors. You want to cut really close to the stitch line without cutting through the fabric. Or I'm sorry, you want to cut really close to the stitches without cutting through the stitches. Really close. Now I'm going to return the hoop back to the machine. The little black stitches that go around the football are going to stitch next. So go ahead and change your top thread to black. You can probably leave your brown bobbin in the bobbin if you like. Or you can change your bobbin to black, either one. Okay, I'm going to start the machine. This is a little jump stitch. You'll want to go ahead and trim that. The next part that's going to stitch out will be the white end caps and then the lacing down the middle of the football. So make sure you have a pretty full bobbin, white bobbin and white top thread, and then start the machine. The next part to stitch is going to be the grass down here. Also, there will be some jump stitches in between the stitches, and you can just trim those off if you like. Okay, so put green bobbin thread and green top thread and just start the machine and it will stitch the grass. The last thing to stitch is going to be the satin stitches that go around the football. So go ahead and put brown bobbin thread in your bobbin area and brown top thread and just push the button and go. The block is now done, so flip it over to the back side and let's remove these large basting stitches next. It's a lot easier to rip if you do the bobbin. I'm a very fast ripper and that's how I do it. When you rip on the bobbin, you only have to do like every 5 stitches or so and everything just comes undone after that. And then after you rip all the stitches, I want you to remove as much batting as possible from the back. I don't want you to get so detailed on removing the stabilizer that you get frustrated, but remove as much as you possibly can. There you have it.